Welcome to the Don James High School Football Report. That was African Americana with Sugar Cane. Glad to have you guys back on another Tuesday night. We got a locked and loaded show tonight, guys. Excuse me, it's going to be really, really fun. We're going to go through the top 25, my high school top 25 in the country. It's changed a lot. It really has. I moved the team up to number 1 last week, and they took a fall this week, so that's going to be a game to look for. We're going to go over that with Ryan Swartz like we always do. Ryan Swartz from Byte.com. He does a high school 25, top 50, top 100 as well. So that should be pretty fun to go into the state playoffs, excuse me, with him. We're going to talk about a few Gatorade Player of the Year candidates. Winners. Candidates maybe that got snubbed, just like a couple guys on the Heisman side as well. And we're going to also talk about coaching changes. Might get into the Rivals 100 as well. The Rivals.com, Yahoo Sports put out a new top 100 and top 250 today. Actually, I'm glad to be a part of that family. And we're going to go through the top 100 possibly, just kind of nitpick and see what went right, what went wrong. We're going to talk about the 2002 recruiting class possibly. I hope to get to that the best as I can. We got a lot to know this show. I'm going to have Ryan on a little later normally than you guys usually hear him. So, but yeah, the 2002 class was loaded. That was the class with Vince Young, Haloti Nata, Linda Booker, Reggie McNeil, Marcus Vick, all types of guys. I know if we get Bill Carapaz on the show, he'll tell us a lot about Marcus Vick, the younger brother of Michael. Leon Washington was in the class, and like Gerald Riggs, Trent Edwards. It's a big, heavy quarterback class. Jairus Norwood was in there, a lot of running backs too. So we're talking about that class as well. But, the first thing I want to get into is my top 25. Now, like I said, I'll bring Ryan in here for his top 25 as well. But my top 25 is, I don't know, I like my top 25 this year, right now. My top 25 has Bishop Gorman at number 1. Gosh, I mean, what a big loss for St. John Bosco. St. John Bosco High School obviously took a loss to Corona Centennial, who I have at number 2 now. Corona Centennial, they got a huge win over De La Salle, excuse me. Not De La Salle, over St. John Bosco. Gosh, I lost my train of thought. They beat St. John Bosco 62-52 on Saturday. J.D. Taylor ran for 269 yards and 5 touchdowns. He kind of had a coming out party. Pretty solid 3-star running back, but I think he could be in the 4 range now, possibly. He's a really good in between the tackles back, and he can cut it to the outside. He's kind of reminds me of Stephon Taylor, formerly of Stanford, now plays in the Arizona Cardinals. And, it was just a big win. Obviously, they do play De La Salle, who they beat earlier. They play De La Salle on December 19th. De La Salle is obviously a top 10 team. That's for the state championship. They just won the Pac-5 final. That game's up in Sacramento right now. They moved it from the Home Depot Center in Carson, LA, California. So, that game, obviously, I think should get some recognition for a national televised game. These two teams played a couple years ago. Corona Centennial won, led by Cameron Hunt in the game. So this team's no joke, man. Corona Centennial's come a long way. They could possibly win the national title. Bishop Gorman's season's over after they beat Liberty. They won the state title already. But, Corona Centennial is right there, man. The strength of schedule is a little weaker this year, especially with Santiago not being that great on the team. But, gosh, that's still a really good team. Both of those teams out in the West, Bishop Gorman and Corona Centennial. I think Corona Centennial, though, it's 2 weeks, so I'm not sure. I'm not positive. Don't hold me to this. My mind could change next week. But I think Corona Centennial will win the game. I just think Corona and Centennial, the way J.J. Taylor's running the ball right now, the way Javon McKinley's playing, even though he's a little banged up, the way their offense is just rolling and rolling and rolling. Their offensive line is always top 10, top 15 in the country. Always the best in California. That's what they build their team on. It's just great offensive line. Athletic guys with a lot of acceleration, a lot of awareness. Bunch of upperclassmen on that team. They paid their dues, man, and they're back for more. Brennan Taylor looks great. Looks like a powerhouse. Moving on, Colquitt County. Allen, Texas is number 3. Allen, Texas deserves to be number 3, in my opinion. Another big win last week for them. I think Allen is a little underrated by a few. I mean, I look at other people's rankings too, and I just see that they're not ranked as high. I mean, there's no way you can have this team outside the top 4. Allen. Now they could very well lose next week to Westlake. But I don't think they'll lose to Westlake and Austin. That's a really good team, coached by Todd Dodge. Like I was mentioning before, a couple shows ago, he's a really good coach, one of the best in the state, came back from North Texas. That team's coached really well. They play a lot like South Lake Carroll, really big time quarterbacks and wide receivers, just a fast, up-tempo offense. But they take that in there versus Allen, and this is kind of the biggest game of the week this weekend because it's just it's a 6A state final, semifinal game. It's not the title game yet in Texas, just like California, long two titles, but this game is in Waco. It's going to be kind of split. Allen has more fans, but this is kind of the first time they're away from home. Also, last week they did play on the road in Cowboy Stadium, but however, this week, like I said, it's a neutral site, just like last week. They took care of business, no doubt. But still, I think Mitchell Jonkey is the best player on the team. They'll do a good job doing, the dual threat thing, with the quarterback. A lot of read options, stuff like that. I think Allen will end up winning the game versus Westlake. Even though I think having a neutral site helps, like I mentioned before. I can't put enough emphasis on that. I mean, Allen just blows people out when they're at home. On neutral sites, they're in a very, very level playing field. Kind of like the Seahawks, the Golden State Warriors, or whoever, the Kansas City Royals. When they play at home, they just have that ump. There's not a lot of teams that can beat Gorman or Allen. I don't think anyone can. But I think this game is going to be high scoring, maybe 56-49. I think Allen will pull it out in a really close window. So that is my number 3 team. Number 4 team is Colquitt County. Colquitt County plays Roswell. Roswell got the upset this week. Really happy that Roswell won that game, actually. I mean, that's a team that Quintarius Neely threw that game-winning pass to A.J. Smith. I think it was like on the 35-yard line. They just threw it up, and it was 4th down. And, man, I mean, Roswell's kind of the team of dreams right now. But they're kind of just sneaking their way in there. I mean, they really are. I believe that they'll win, though. I believe that they'll get this victory over Roswell, Colquitt County. I'm talking about Colquitt County is just a better team up front. We kept talking about teams up front. Current Centennial up front, Gorman up front, Allen up front. They have Greg Little, huge time player, best offensive tackle in the country. All these teams are good up front. Katy as well. We'll get to them next, but this Allen team, this Colquitt team is really good up front. They're dominant. They have possibly the best offensive line in the country, and Roswell's really good up front too, especially on D-line. So that would be a good matchup to watch. I noticed that their defensive tackle, nose tackle, kind of 5-tech-ish guy, and they play multiple D. They're good players. They do a lot up front as far as shifts, I noticed as well. So, close game. I'm going to say 38 maybe 27. I think it's going to be a few points scored, mostly on the ground, though. Both teams will have over 200 yards. Also, go on a limb and say that. But Katy is number 5. They play Steele, who's gotten a lot of love from people lately. I still don't have him on my top yet, but I think teams like Wade Travis are a little bit better, and Cedar Park as well. But this team is great. Steele High School, they out of Texas, obviously. Very well coached team, very good secondary. I've noticed. I've seen a lot about them, but I think Katy gets the win. Close. Another close game. But yeah, I think they'll get the victory. De La Salle is number 6. Obviously, they play Centennial. A lot of people are asking me what happens if De La Salle blows out Centennial. They win by, a good margin, maybe 14 or up. What happens is they obviously win the state title. They'll probably be number one in the state, California. Mission Viejo is close, but I don't think they'll hop either from Centennial or De La Salle, to be honest. Mission Viejo, I'll get to them in a little bit later. I really want to talk about that game with Ryan. I'm highlighting Mission Viejo versus Helix because a lot of people, are saying Helix might win that game. It's going to be pretty close. I don't think Mission Viejo will have too many problems, but we'll see. I mean, I have family in La Mesa, Lemon Grove area, so I'm rooting for Helix in a way, but also I'm pretty close to the Mission Viejo program and, Coach Bob Johnson. So, it'll be a fun game really to watch if you're in town for the state championship. But, we'll get to that, like I said, later in detail with Ryan Swartz when he comes on. But male, they are number 7. They already won a state title. Best Kentucky team ever, possibly. Trinity, I think, finished at number 5, and Brian Braun was there. So I'm not sure if they'll finish in the top 5 male. They could. I mean, if De La Salle loses, they're definitely going to step up. And if Katy loses or Allen, one of the Texas teams, will step up. So because they finished, they could very well finish probably as high as 3. Don't see them finishing ahead of Bishop Gorman. If Corona wins, they're not going to be ahead of them, obviously. So maybe number 3, which would be great for a male team next year. That's going to be even better, in my opinion. But yeah, they won the state title. They end the season 15-0. Number 8 is St. Edward out of Ohio, another team that has wrapped up their state title. They're 14-1. They did take a loss earlier in the season, but those guys out of Lakewood, Ohio, St. Edward. Oh man, Jimmy Teef had the game of his life. 28 completions, I believe, 419 yards, 2 TDs over Wayne. That was obviously at the big shoe, the horseshoe, not the big. I mixed big house with horseshoe, which is horrible. Michigan Ohio State fans, sorry. But no, they played the horseshoe, and apparently, I didn't see that game, but apparently it was a really fun game to watch. Both teams they put up a lot of points, more points than I thought. The final score, like I said, was 45-35. Huber Heights had their chance, man. It's the first time I really bumped them up and kind of talked about them being one of the top teams this year. And they kind of blew it. They had a stage to finish in the top 25, and now they won't have that opportunity. So, some people have in the top 25. I don't. I think there's just a lot of teams better than Huber Heights. They kind of didn't impress me too much all year until late, to be honest. I thought they were a solid team in Ohio, maybe a top 25 team in Ohio, not the country. They're kind of better than what I thought, but somewhere in the middle still, maybe a top 50 team. Top 40 team, that's about it. But this team, St. Edward, is definitely a top 10 team. They'll finish there. I don't see them. I don't see anybody jumping up and knocking them out of the top 10. Just the team that's balanced on offense, and really for Ohio, granted, not the fastest states, not Texas, California, Florida, Louisiana, but there's some fast guys on this St. Edward team. There's some speedsters on the outside. Their corners match up well with your best wide receivers. A lot of guys playing multiple positions. So, St. Edward, great job. Congratulations to male St. Edward. And Bishop Gorman winning the state title. Bishop Gorman, I didn't really get into them too much because I want to talk about that with Ryan, like I said before. That's special what they're doing in Las Vegas. It really is. I know that, they get a lot of flack. Private school or funded by these people,